Do you believe that there are still villages in the world where sunlight can kill people? Where children have to climb deadly cliffs to go to school? In some places, men wake up with strange desires, or women who go almost their entire lives without bathing. All of these things are 100% true. Let's explore these strange villages right now. Number 1. The village that arouses strange desires in men. In a remote corner of Kazakhstan, a long yawn is not a sign of fatigue but rather the beginning of complete loss of control. Kalachi, a village dubbed the Valley of Sleep, has puzzled scientists around the world for years, as its residents can suddenly collapse and fall into a deep sleep while walking, driving, or even sitting in a classroom. The drowsiness in Kalachi strikes suddenly and without warning, lasting continuously from 2 to 6 days. However, the frightening part is not the sleep itself, but what happens when they wake up. Many children in the village have screamed in terror while recounting visions of floating winged horses, giant demons standing at their bedside, or elephant trunks sprouting from their parents' faces. One 60-year-old woman, upon waking, completely lost her senses and began clapping and crowing like a rooster for hours on end. Even stranger is the sudden surge of sexual desire that follows awakening. Local nurses have reported numerous cases of men, after emerging from prolonged slumber, immediately demanding physical activity, with their libido skyrocketing. This condition does not just last for a day or two, but can persist for months, accompanied by irritability and coarse language that keeps others at bay. This bizarre phenomenon does not spare animals either. Marquis, a cat in the village, suddenly exhibited erratic behavior such as jumping against walls and attacking the neighbor's dog before collapsing into a deep sleep for 24 hours. Upon waking, Marquis no longer recognized its owner and displayed a fear of light, similar to that of humans. From what I have gathered, just a few hundred meters from Kalachi lies the town of Krasnogorsk, which once mined uranium during the Soviet era. Because of this, it is believed that radioactive substances may have leaked and become the culprit behind the strange occurrences. However, those who worked directly in the uranium mines reported that they did not experience such conditions, leading to the immediate dismissal of this hypothesis. Additionally, there are rumors that the area conceals a gold mine, and someone might be trying to lightly poison the village to force residents to leave quickly. So what is the real cause here? After years of investigation, it has been concluded that the main culprit is the leakage of carbon monoxide and radon gas from abandoned mines. During winter or when pressure changes occur, the oxygen levels in the village drop significantly due to the toxic gases taking up space. The residents' brains enter a state of silent suffocation, forcing their bodies to activate a state of forced hibernation to protect their lives. If you woke up after 6 days of deep sleep in Kalachi, what do you think you would see first? Share your thoughts in the comments. Number 2. The Death Village perched on the cliff. If you think climbing a few flights of stairs is exhausting, then you should visit Untitled village in Liangshan, Sichuan. This is a cliffside village in the truest sense, situated over 1,400 meters above sea level. For 200 years, the only way for the 72 households here to access civilization has been through a system of 17 bamboo and rotten wood ladders, without any protective equipment. In Untitled, everything comes at a cost of physical effort. Each trip down the mountain takes the locals about 2 hours, while the climb back up can take up to 3 hours. Children in Untitled start learning how to scale the treacherous cliffs at the age of 6. For younger kids, parents have to tie ropes around their waists to pull them up or hold them securely when descending to ensure their safety. However, due to the dangerous paths, children often have to stay at boarding schools at the foot of the mountain and can only return home twice a month. Not just people, but all household items, from TVs and refrigerators to livestock, are also carried on the backs of the villagers as they climb the ladders to bring them up to the village. One man here became famous for carrying a 100-kilogram pig on his back while climbing the steep cliffs to sell it. Even finding a wife in this village used to be a daunting challenge. No girl from the lowlands would dare to marry into a place where every visit to her maternal home was a gamble with life. As a result, young men in the village often faced a sustainable bachelorhood unless they had enough money to carry their future wives up the mountain. In 2016, after photos of the children's arduous journey to school went viral internationally, the Chinese government allocated about $150,000 to build a massive steel staircase. This structure consists of 2,556 steps made from over 40 tons of sturdy steel pipes. With improved access, Untitled also became a popular destination for thrill-seeking tourists. However, This newfound fame has also brought about some drama. To gain views, some outsiders stage scenes of villagers squatting and eating raw, dirt-covered sweet potatoes, or feeding children instant noodles in filthy basins to evoke pity from urban dwellers. The peak of this controversy occurred in October 2021, when a video of an orphan boy named Chiku running errands to support his younger sibling went viral on social media. The truth later emerged, shocking everyone. A man with the surname Lee had hired Chiku to act out a pre-scripted scenario in exchange for just a few sets of clothes and cheap school supplies. This was clearly an exploitation of the community's goodwill for personal gain, which is truly condemnable, isn't it? Even with the new, sturdier bridge, traveling here remains challenging, especially for the elderly. As a result, most villagers have been relocated to a modern resettlement area. Here, a somewhat comical situation arose. Social workers had to ask residents to sign commitments to maintain the habit of bathing at least once a week and trimming their nails monthly. For those who have lived their entire lives in water-scarce conditions atop the mountain, getting accustomed to modern showers or toilets is indeed a significant leap towards civilization. Number 3. A place where people hardly bathe their entire lives. Now, forget all the personal hygiene standards you've ever known, because in the Kunane region of northern Namibia, there is a tribe whose women hardly ever touch water throughout their lives. This is the Himba tribe, with a population of about 50,000 people, living between two of the harshest deserts in the world, the Namib and the Kalahari. First of all, as soon as you step into this village, you will be shocked by their incredibly cool fashion style. The traditional attire for both men and women here consists of nothing more than a leather loincloth wrapped around the hips, while the upper body is left completely bare in front of everyone. Even when going to the market or welcoming guests, Himba women confidently go topless 100%, because in the scorching heat of the desert, adding another layer of fabric is like turning oneself into a roasted human in an oven. As mentioned, the Himba people hardly bathe with water throughout their lives. It's not due to laziness, but because water in Namibia is more precious than gold. The area they inhabit lies between the vast Namib and Kalahari deserts, where rain is scarce and rivers are almost non-existent. Water must be prioritized for drinking and cooking, making bathing a luxury. Therefore, they have devised very creative ways to clean their bodies. Instead of bathing, the Himba apply a mixture of red clay and fat to their skin. This layer acts as a natural sunscreen, repels insects, and effectively masks body odor. Jokingly, this is a 100% natural desert spa version. Additionally, they have a method called smoke bathing. Various herbs are burned, and the person bathing wraps themselves in a blanket, allowing the smoke and sweat to cleanse their body. No water, no soap, just smoke and patience. The Himba also maintain a polygamous lifestyle. A man can marry multiple wives if he is wealthy enough. Wealth here is not measured by having a big house or a nice car, but by the number of cattle. Cattle serve as currency, a bank account, and a measure of social status. The more cattle one has, the more respect they receive. Notably, if you are a male guest visiting the village, be prepared for the hospitality custom Okujepisa Omukazandu, which is quite intimate. To show the utmost respect, a Himba husband will willingly give up his bed and invite the guest to sleep with his wife for the night, while he himself will sleep outside or in another room. Although the wife has the right to refuse sexual relations, sharing a sleeping space with a stranger is a mandatory diplomatic obligation to strengthen the friendship between host and guest. Conversely, it is almost unheard of for a wife to invite a female friend over for her husband, as not everyone has the courage to face the imaginary 2-meter-long horns. Moreover, the Himba have a dramatic wedding procedure akin to an action movie. Before the wedding, the groom and his family will traditionally kidnap the bride. The girl is dressed in wedding attire made of leather and taken to the groom's home. Upon arrival, the groom's family will guide her on her role as a wife and express their acceptance by applying rich cow's milk on her body. Do you think you could live your entire life without bathing like this? If so, comment with a number to see who will be the bravest. Number 4. The town without men. Next up is a place that will surely make many single men's hearts race a little faster. It's the town famously known as a haven for beautiful women, but with a severe shortage of husbands, called Noiva do Cordeiro in Brazil. This peculiar town has over 90% of its residents being women, most of whom are astonishingly young and beautiful. The origin of this female world began with a powerful act of defiance. In 1891, Maria Senhorinha de Lima was expelled by the church and shunned by the community for adultery after she fled from an arranged marriage. Refusing to be defeated, she established this village as a sanctuary for women rejected by society, single mothers, and abused wives. Over a century later, this spirit of independence has created a pure matriarchal community where women write their own rules without the guidance of men. In Noiva do Cordeiro, women take on every role that the outside world typically assigns to men. They drive tractors in the fields, fix plumbing, conduct religious ceremonies, and manage the economy through a cooperative model. Everything operates on the principle of sharing. Those who have more contribute more, and those in need receive help. They believe that women's management helps maintain peace and order in the village, rather than the power struggles often seen in patriarchal societies. So where do the men fit into this story? In reality, they do exist, but they function more like seasonal workers who only appear on weekends. The husbands and sons, over 18 of the women in the village, are required to work in major cities hundreds of kilometers away. They are only allowed to return to the village on weekends. This strict regulation aims to keep the daily living and working environment of the village completely pure, free from the habits or patriarchal mindsets of men. However, this isolation and the weekend-only rule have led to a severe marriage crisis. Despite having hundreds of beauties, there is an extreme shortage of single men in the area. Noiva do Cordeiro gained global fame in 2014 when it sent out a message seeking husbands across borders. But don't rush to pack your bags just yet, because to become a son-in-law here, you must accept the rule of living under women's governance. Every major and minor decision in the village is voted on and decided by the women. So, would you still want to come here to find a wife? Let me know in the comments below. Number 5. The village melts under the sunlight. For the residents of Araras, a village in Goiás, Brazil, sunlight is not a source of life, but rather a death sentence hanging over their heads. This is the place with the highest rate of a rare genetic disease called xeroderma pigmentosum in the world. While in the United States, there is an average of 1 case per million people, in Araras, about 1 in every 40 people is witnessing their body being destroyed day by ultraviolet rays. When afflicted with this disease, just a few minutes of sun exposure can cause their skin to burn, rapidly leading to the formation of malignant tumors and gradually destroying soft tissue and facial bones. Many residents here live with large gaps in their faces, losing their noses, ears, or even their eyes due to corrosive cancer. One of the most heartbreaking stories is that of Mr. Las Jalma Antonio Jardim, who has undergone over 50 surgeries to remove tumors. His face has become so severely deformed that he must wear a mask whenever he goes outside to avoid frightening others. Why does such a rare disease concentrate in such a small village? The answer lies in geographical isolation and a history of consanguineous marriages. Araras was established by a few farming families who settled here centuries ago. Living apart from the outside world, the residents have intermarried over generations, allowing this dangerous recessive gene to emerge and become a collective curse. To survive, Araras has transformed itself into a village of night shadows. Life here begins when the sun sets. Farmers in Araras have to learn to cultivate crops and raise livestock under the moonlight or electric light. During the day, the village is enveloped in absolute silence, with tightly closed windows and heavy curtains. Those who must go outside during the day have to equip themselves with full-body clothing like beekeepers, along with a strong sunscreen that sometimes costs more than what the poor farmers can afford. Number 6. The richest village in China. In Jiangsu Province, China, there is a place where the belief that money can't buy happiness is considered a ridiculous lie. This is Huaxi Village, led by the late Secretary Wu Renbao, who lived by the philosophy, only money can bring happiness. He proved this by transforming the village's initial 2,000 residents into true millionaires. Each household here owns at least one savings account with $250,000, a luxurious villa, and 2 or more cars. The sight of supercars parked along the sidewalks and streets is as common here as bicycles are elsewhere. Additionally, this village has its own 2 helicopters, one with 6 seats and another with 8, to cater to the transportation needs of its residents. The villagers can use them for free, while tourists must pay a service fee. Furthermore, local residents enjoy completely free healthcare and education. Although migrant workers do not receive housing or vehicles, their salaries are high enough to make many people envious. The source of this seemingly absurd wealth comes from a highly profitable collective economic model. The entire village essentially operates as a massive conglomerate involved in various industries, from steel and textiles to maritime transport. The village's logic is straightforward. The residents are not just workers but also shareholders. Instead of receiving meager monthly wages, they receive dividends from the billions of dollars in profits generated by the Huaxi conglomerate each year. However, to maintain this wealth, residents must trade away absolute freedom. The first rule: you never get a day off. People work 7 days a week in factories and offices, with no concept of weekends or holidays. The second rule, which is also the heaviest golden handcuff: you are not allowed to leave. Legally, all villas, vehicles, and the hundreds of thousands of dollars in those accounts belong to the collective. If you decide to move elsewhere, you will leave with nothing. All your assets will be confiscated and immediately turned over to the public treasury. At this point, many might wonder why, with so much money, they can't travel and spend freely. The answer is that perhaps they don't need to go far, because the management has brought the world right into the village. From the Statue of Liberty in the U.S. to the Arc de Triomphe in France, and even the Great Wall of China, all have miniature versions here. If you were in their shoes, would you choose to live in such a place? Number 7. The village living with the deceased. Have you ever heard of a place where people live in the same house with the bodies of their deceased loved ones for many years? The village I'm referring to is Tanah Toraja, located on the island of Sulawesi in Indonesia. The locals believe that when a family member takes their last breath, they should not be referred to as the dead, but rather as a makula, which means a person who is ill or asleep. To keep this sleeping individual around for as long as possible, families embalm the body with formalin or special herbs to prevent decomposition, and then place it in a special room of honor in their home. Another reason the Toraja people keep the bodies for so long is the economic pressure, as their funerals are considered the most expensive in the world. In order for the soul of the deceased to transition to the afterlife, families are required to sacrifice a large number of livestock. Notably, rare white buffalo can cost up to $40,000 each. Since such treasures are not always readily available, families often keep their deceased loved ones in the house for several months, or even decades, just to have enough time to save money for an extravagant funeral. During this waiting period, the deceased remains a part of the family. Daily, descendants bring food, offer cigarettes, engage in conversation, and even turn on the TV, as if the deceased were still aware. The locals believe that if they do not take good care of the body, the soul of the deceased will feel abandoned and bring misfortune to the village. Sounds quite strange, doesn't it? But that's not all. Even after burying their loved ones, the locals still hold a ritual called Manene, which takes place every August. This is when families dig up graves, open coffins, and take the mummified bodies out for a walk. They use brushes to clean off the dust, and then dress their ancestors in the trendiest outfits, such as suits or wedding dresses, and even add expensive sunglasses. The sight of mummified bodies standing next to their descendants for selfies or touring the village is shocking to any international visitor, but it is the Toraja way of updating the deceased on family matters. After the festival, the bodies are returned to their rocky tombs, continuing their long sleep until the next festival. Number 8. The place where the whole village drinks poison and survives. Argentina has a town called San Antonio de los Cobres, famous for its residents who drink poison daily to quench their thirst yet remain healthy. Yes, you heard that right. Due to its proximity to massive natural mineral deposits, the water here is contaminated with arsenic at levels 20 times higher than the safety limit set by the World Health Organization. To put it in perspective, if an average person from New York or London were to drink this water, they would suffer from organ failure, cancer, or check out of this world in a short time. However, for the residents of San Antonio, arsenic is merely a minor ingredient in their daily beverage. How can they be immune to this toxin? Researchers from Sweden have spent years unraveling this mystery, and the answer lies in their evolution. After more than 11,000 years of living and consuming this toxic water, the locals have developed a mutated gene known as AS3MT. This gene acts like a super-fast waste processing plant, enabling their bodies to convert arsenic into a harmless form and expel it through urine faster than any other humans on the planet. Interestingly, despite their extraordinary resistance to toxins, the people here face another challenge: a lack of oxygen. The town is situated nearly 4,000 meters above sea level, resulting in thin air. If you were here, you wouldn't be able to run around or laugh too loudly without your lungs screaming for oxygen. To combat altitude sickness, residents of all ages chew coca leaves throughout the day, a herb that helps dilate blood vessels and enhance oxygen absorption. Number 9. The twin capital of the world. If you feel like you're experiencing a dizzying sensation or encountering a technical glitch in the process of creation when you step into the town of Igbo-Ora in Nigeria, don't worry, it's entirely true. This is the place dubbed the twin capital of the world, where giving birth to just one child is considered unusual, while twins are the normal standard for every family. Statistics show that while the twin birth rate in Europe, or the U.S., hovers around 10 to 15 pairs per 1,000 births, in Igbo-Ora, this figure reaches an astonishing 158 pairs per 1,000 births. So, what's the secret? While Western scientists lean towards genetic hypotheses, the locals firmly assert that it's due to yams. Specifically, women here consume a large amount of white yam, combined with a soup made from okra leaves called ilasa. The skin of this yam contains a very high concentration of a chemical compound known as phytoestrogen. When ingested in large quantities by women, this compound acts as a kind of natural ovulation stimulant, encouraging the ovaries to release multiple eggs at once during the ovulation cycle. As a result, the likelihood of conceiving multiples increases dramatically, completely naturally, without the need for any expensive medical interventions. In Igbo-Ora, twins are not just a biological phenomenon but also revered as demigods in local culture. They believe that twins are a supreme blessing and a sign of wealth and prosperity. The town even hosts an annual international twin festival, where thousands of twins from all over come together to celebrate their special genes. Number 10. A place where the entire village lives underground. China has a village known as the Invisible Village because here you can hear laughter and chatter all around. Yet when you look around, you see no houses or people. It feels as if the entire village is playing hide and seek with the world. Of course, there is nothing truly invisible. The houses here are built deep underground, rather than high above the ground. Each house is about 10 to 12 meters wide and 6 to 7 meters deep. Many of these homes have existed for over 200 years and have been inhabited by a single family for 6 generations. The houses may be old, but the people are numerous and very lively. If you're wondering how to get down to these homes, rest assured that no one jumps straight into a hole. Each house has a tunnel about 10 meters long that connects from the surface to a central courtyard. This courtyard is the heart of the home, where meals are shared, conversations take place, weddings are celebrated, and communal activities occur. Simply put, it serves as the underground version of a living room. Building such a house is not a quick process. Each family takes 2 to 3 years to complete their home. Inside, there are fully equipped bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens, bathrooms, storage rooms, and even spaces for raising livestock. With electricity, refrigerators, and washing machines, life here is not lacking compared to homes above ground. When thinking about living underground, many might imagine flooding during the rain. However, the ancients had thought this through very carefully. The drainage system is cleverly designed to channel rainwater outside immediately. As a result, the houses remain dry and cool at all times. In fact, this type of house has been around for about 4,000 years, dating back to the Bronze Age. Back then, people devised a way to dig homes to escape the heat in summer and the cold in winter. It's a solution that is both economical and effective, eliminating the need for air conditioning. Today, in the village of Sanmengxia, there are still about 10,000 underground houses with 3,000 residents. If you want to experience the life of an underground dweller, the prices here are quite varied. You can rent a room for as little as about $37 a month. If you wish to own a subterranean villa with 3 bedrooms, a living room, and a kitchen, you would need to spend around $56,000. This is a fairly reasonable price for a cultural heritage site that has existed since the Bronze Age, where absolute tranquility allows you to completely disconnect from the noisy world above. Number 11. Where the dead live in a $1 million villa. In the coastal village of An Bang, Vietnam, there is an ironic phenomenon where the deceased reside in magnificent mausoleums, while the living nearby often inhabit simple, narrow houses. This is one of the most extravagant cemeteries in the world, spanning 40 hectares, where a single grave can cost up to $200,000, an amount sufficient to purchase a luxury apartment in the heart of New York or London. The reason the people of An Bang invest heavily in tombs is that, for them, these are not just resting places but also a reflection of the family's and clan's status. The larger and more beautiful the mausoleum, the more it signifies the filial piety of descendants towards their ancestors, and it serves as a proper resting place for the departed before they enter eternal rest. The tombs here are often designed in the style of ancient royal mausoleums of Vietnam. Each burial site resembles a miniature palace, guarded by mythical creatures like dragons and phoenixes, with intricate decorative patterns made from ceramic inlays. To acquire decorative materials, many families buy entire sets of new ceramic dishes, then break them and affix each piece onto the tomb. Additionally, there are various architectural styles, including Buddhist, Taoist, Confucian, and even Tibetan designs. Many mausoleums are illuminated throughout the night, featuring crescent-shaped ponds, restrooms, and even sleeping quarters for caretakers. Due to their grandeur, it can sometimes be difficult to distinguish between a mausoleum and a temple. Interestingly, the residents here also have a competitive spirit. If they notice a neighbor building a taller or more lavish tomb, the family next door will set a goal to ensure their own mausoleum is even more extravagant, all to avoid being outshined in terms of reputation. So, our online travel journey has come to a stop here. After watching this video, which village impressed you the most? Please leave the name of that place in the comments below to share with me and other viewers. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video until the very last second. If you found this content interesting and helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next explorations with me in the future. The information is for reference only, so please do your own research before making any decisions.